Hey, so instead of recording in my car today, I tried to make time this morning, which I'm running out of time and have to get in my car soon. But, anyways, I woke up hearing that message start this new year in a new way, and I guess it's going to keep coming that way because this is a new year and it's time for a new day, right? But I just want to remind you it's very important that you don't take responsibility for the choices that other people make. Because I moved into my new place a month ago, actually, and my neighbor had a girlfriend that took her own life. And I see him in his mind going through what he did, what he said, how it could have changed, taking responsibility for her actions, and then thinking, well, had I not done that, then she wouldn't have done that. And we have to remember that people are their own individual people, and no matter what you say or do, they're dealing with their own demons. And you have to understand that you're not responsible. Nothing you say pushed that person over the edge. They were already looking, and when it comes down to it, when we don't speak our truth, when we're not our true authentic self, then we are creating dis-ease in our lives. And that's where, if you look at dis-ease, you're not at ease, you begin to create disease in your body because you're having these blockages that you're creating because you are not putting your truth out there. And some of us are blunt, some of us are really playful in certain ways, and other people are like, that's harsh. Other people enjoy it. It's just you got to find your soul tribe. You got to find who you click with. Because I remember growing up, we weren't soft as kids. Man, screw you, and played around. And it wasn't as crazy as it is today because people get offended over the smallest things. And you're like, what in the world? I didn't even say anything that was meant to offend you. But you can't control how people take what you're saying. You can't control how they're going to react to what you're saying. The only thing you can control is how you react to them. You can blow up, you can become vindictive, you can waste your time, you can become hostile, you can take it to heart and be like, oh no, and start to shut down. But when you're secure in who you are, when you're comfortable with the choices that you're making that affect your personal life, then you can begin to show the world who you are and help them find comfort in who they are, if that makes any sense. And we become leaders by being bold in who we are, by allowing ourselves to speak up, by allowing ourselves to say, that's who I am. If you don't like it, there's 7 billion other people. Like, you're more than welcome to go entertain yourself with them, right? You don't change yourself for somebody. And you don't have to sugarcoat life. Because some people aren't meant to be in your sphere of life. Some people are not meant to be in the same space as you. Let's say they're not on the same frequency as you. So they're not going to vibe with you. Some people vibe low, some people vibe high. Some people fluctuate. I myself have done that. I'm like, I feel bipolar. I don't know what's going on. But that's losing that security of who I am, what I believe, what I stand for, and not changing what I believe, but not having people I can speak authentically with. So over time, I have to pull back and be like, this isn't, we're not on the same wavelength. And I just kind of regress into being by myself. And it's sad because you can get so used to being alone that you're like, I don't really need people in my life. And that in itself can become dangerous because when you get to a point of being okay being alone, you don't rely on people. And as humans, we are a species that, not to say that we're reliant, but we are pack animals. We thrive and we support one another. And when you have that person that is okay being alone, they don't need anybody. And then they become the outsider in a way, And the rest of the world looks at them going, how do you do that? I can't do that. And then all of a sudden, you're a target. It's people want to prove to you you're not as strong as you are. People want to wear you down and put so much on you because they're like, well, you're strong, you're capable. I was told the other day at work, well, you're Superwoman. And I'm like, yeah, they haven't gotten the memo that my cape is still in the laundromat. Like, it's still at the cleaners. I don't want to be Superwoman. I don't want to do 6 people's jobs. But the fact is, they look and they're like, she's capable. That doesn't mean to abuse and overuse somebody. And that's, I think in life we get to that point though. We find somebody that's strong and sometimes we might lean too hard on them. I read something the other day that said she was always a shoulder for everyone to lean on, and it's amazing they couldn't hear her bones crushing under the weight. And it made me go, that is a very true statement. When you're strong, people will reach out to you when they need you, but then they'll leave you alone when they don't. So that takes back to being more okay being alone, because what's the point in being used? But the beginning of this started with, do not take responsibility to how other people are going to react to you. So when it comes down to it, me starting to pull back, going, nah, I'm not giving so much. No, what do you give me in return? And it's not to say you owe me something, but you're going to understand the reality of how you're using me. I'm not going to allow you to use me because I have respect for myself. I create boundaries for myself. I thrive and get blessed, and abundance flows into my life because of my actions, my choices, my practices. So who are you to come along and use that? And it gets to a point where, yes, there is this like, I want to explode. And that's where the pullback has to come in. And that should be in any relationship that we're in, because when we get into relationships, there's always somebody that needs a little bit more, because we're all healing, right? And when you get in a codependent relationship, when you need each other to be happy or you need each other to be fulfilled, that is a dangerous situation. That's something that shows you need to spend a little bit more time alone. Because when you can spend that time alone, then you can face your demons on your own, rather than going, well, I see yours, but I don't see mine. Because we can easily attack one another over things that bother us, rather than go, oh, I see in you the things I don't like in me. It's hard because that takes a person that's somewhat healed to be able to get to a point where they're not affected by other people's actions. They're not affected by the judgments and the things that people will say to them, because it's so easy to react. And I told somebody just the other day, your emotions are so easily triggered, and you blow up and you get different attitudes. That shows that you're easily manipulated because you have no control over your emotions. So you're letting the rest of the world dictate how you are going to live that day. You're not living. You're not choosing to be your authentic self, right? And a lot of people won't be their authentic selves because of past trauma, past memories, things that have happened in a certain way to where they're like, I shouldn't have said that. Had I not said that, they wouldn't have done that. And had they not done that, I wouldn't feel this way. And it's always this path, rather than going, let me look at the pattern here. What is the pattern? I keep meeting people that can't handle certain things. So maybe I need to regress for a while, recalibrate, and then I can move forward, right? Because we get to a point where if we keep trying to make people fit into our bubble, it's like putting certain elements. Say in order for your chambers to open in your body, you need sodium and potassium. But say you try to come in and you try to throw cholesterol on that. That's not going to do the same job. So it's like, sorry, I don't know why I went back to anatomy in college. But when you come down to it and you put the wrong substance, you're just creating a blockage. And we can create those blockages by allowing people to stay into our lives that don't allow us to be ourselves. And when we have to watch what we say, when we have to worry about how that person's going to react to who we are, now all of a sudden we're not getting to be our true, authentic self. So in order to start healing and being more open about who you are and going, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And if you leave it, don't stand around and watch. Don't stand around and wait for me to fail. Don't stand around and wait to see what I get, so then you can swoop in and be like, oh, I want some of that. That's not how this works. Because you have users that will stand around and watch from the wayside and be like, oh, I see it coming. I see them glowing up. I see them about to get everything. Now let me go be your friend. Now let me tell you I'm in love with you. Now let me tell you I want to be a part of your world. Because those are the people that when they come in, all of a sudden, boop, nope, you're blocked. That blessing does not come to you. Because the universe knows more about what's going on around you than you do. It's just like another thing I read, God closes the door on some situations because he heard conversations that you did not hear. So when you get to the point of the matter, you want something, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be cohesive in your life. So when you can learn to let go and let it flow, then all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, life got easy. What happened? Don't even ask what happened. Just embrace it. Enjoy it. All of a sudden you get these new things in your life that you needed. You start finding change on the ground, and the next thing you know, people are giving you tips at work or just different aspects of life, money flowing to you, people smiling at you, people being generous with their time, people just listening and allowing you to be seen and heard. All of a sudden you feel like you matter. But that only happens when you balance your life. And that means that you have to let go of that which will not let you grow. And that's hard a lot of times because we spend years, decades with people. Doesn't matter if they're lovers, friends, family. We get used to a way of being, right? And then when all of a sudden that change occurs, you're like, oh no, it's like a storm coming in and you're not dressed for the weather. I went and took the dog out the other day. It was like 2 weeks ago. And I was ready for work and I had a really lightweight windbreaker on. And all of a sudden this wind starts blowing and I'm like, what in the world is going on? And my daughter goes, NEM, we're not in Kansas anymore. And I was like, no kidding. Before I got to the door, it starts pouring down rain. And I'm like, that came out of nowhere. But that kind of change can leave you. If you had no shelter, then all of a sudden you're outside like, I was not ready for this. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then the weather just got cold. So there was no, oh, the sun will come out and warm you up. A couple days later, the sun came out. But it was that change that we weren't ready for. I don't watch the weather. I don't watch TV. I don't do much of anything that keeps me informed about the world around me. I used to always know what was going on by watching RSOE, which is a channel that tells you about weather around the world. I could tell you which volcanoes were erupting. I could tell you where landslides had happened. I could tell you about space weather. I could tell you all about things. And then one day I said, how is this benefiting me? It's not. It was just entertaining me. And life had to change. Kids started growing up, became a single parent, didn't have time for those things. So life changes. Embrace it. Allow people to flow out so other ones can flow in. And then you will start to see your world changing. Just don't take responsibility for the way that other people are reacting to what you're saying. If they can't handle you, let them go. Because they're not meant to be with you. And if something happens because of something that you've said, like I said, don't tear yourself apart because that person was already on the brink of not being able to accept the reality of the life in which they were in. Some people can't handle a spiritual awakening. Some people can't handle change and growth. Some people, sadly, tap out. And it's hard, yes, but we have to accept that not everybody is the same. Not everybody is bred to be a warrior, and some people do come in your life to remind you of the potential of what could be in your life if you give up. Other people come into your life to remind you what could be if you find the strength and the courage to stand up and speak out. You know, it's like the movie Ants. You got to be the one little ant that stood up against the crickets and then changed the whole entire kingdom. So don't keep taking responsibility for outside situations that don't really pertain to you, you know, and allow yourself that time to heal. Allow yourself that time to go, you know what? I learned from that. I can see how it correlates with my life, and now I'm ready to change and grow a little bit further. Because yes, we do live in the shadows and we do live in darkness, and we do have to find our way back to our soul path, which is to get in alignment with something that is more beneficial for our higher good, our higher self. So when you can start allowing yourself to get to that point in your life, you're going to live a more authentic, loving, and abundant life. Don't keep waiting around for it to find you, because you have to pursue it. I'm going to leave it on that note because I've got to leave here very shortly, and sending you peace, love, and light. Bye-bye.